Hey there, Seb for the Realtor here. Let me ask you a question. Doctor, lawyer, realtor. Which one of those does not belong? If you want to learn what I have to think about grouping realtors in with these other high-paid professionals, then you definitely want to watch this video. So the other day, I was sitting in my office meeting and our sales manager is getting up and he's talking about presenting your value to your clients as a top-tier professional. And he actually said, Doctor, lawyer, realtor. And why aren't realtors considered to be one of these really top-tier professions in the United States? And actually, on its face, it's kind of a laughable question, really, or is it? And I say that because obviously the barrier to entry to become a realtor is almost criminally low. It is very, very easy to become a realtor, but it is very difficult to stay a realtor, at least stay a realtor who makes any money. But my sales manager's point was that at least realtors should look at themselves as that kind of professional, because when you are somebody who is buying or selling a house, it is, after all, one of the, if not the single largest financial transaction that you will ever be making, and that you should be entrusting yourself to a professional of the highest caliber, as I'm sure you would be if you wanted to get a medical service from somebody. You would want a very well qualified doctor, especially if it was like brain surgery or spinal surgery, right? Same thing with a lawyer. I'm sure that you would want to get the best lawyer you could afford if it was something very important, like, I don't know, the custody of your children or something like that. So when you are doing something very important for which you need a skill set that you do not possess, it is in your best interest to hire the best professional that you can. Now, when it comes to buying or selling a house, that does mean you are almost for sure going to be hiring a realtor, a member of the National Association of Realtors. But how can you be sure that you are actually going to get a realtor of the very highest caliber? Because there are so many realtors out there. There are literally millions of realtors. Well, not millions, but there's over a million. I think there's like 1.6 million realtors in the United States, and I believe there's somewhat over 200,000 realtors in California alone. So how are you, a regular ordinary person who just wants to buy or sell a house, and you want to have a really great seasoned professional help you, how can you be sure that you are hiring a really well-qualified and experienced realtor? Well, this is a problem that has beset the real estate industry for many, many years. Actually, back in 2015, the National Association of Realtors put out a report that caused a lot of, wailing and gnashing of teeth at that time in the real estate industry. It was called the Danger Report, and it was all about the threats that are facing the real estate industry. And one of those threats was identified as the masses of marginal agents which are destroying the reputation of realtors. Yes, I know, destroying the reputation of realtors kind of implies that realtors had at least a good reputation worth destroying at the time. I'm not sure that's ever true. That's ever been true, because if you look back at historical surveys that have been done of professionals in America, real estate salespeople, aka realtors, have always been at the very, very bottom of the list, somewhere around used car salesmen, I think. I'm not quite sure. I think used car salesmen and realtors were like duking it out and trading places over the years for who gets the least respected profession in America. But let's just say, though, that we'll humor the National Association of Realtors and say that we did have something of a good reputation to destroy to begin with. But that was identified almost 10 years ago in this Danger Report, these low masses of marginal agents. And I think this has something to do with these lawsuits that we've been seeing around these commission issues, because a lot of sellers are feeling like, why am I paying a realtor who I don't know, who may not be very well qualified at all, and could in fact end up blowing up the deal, screwing up the deal, and costing me tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right? Why am I paying this realtor the same amount of money that I would be paying to a really, really good realtor, like hopefully the realtor that person chose to sell their house? listen, I get it. It is a very challenging thing to do, and there are ways you can vet your realtor for sure, but one of the easiest ways, one of the quickest ways, I think, to vet a realtor is by simply looking at their license number. Like, I always do that whenever I get an offer from a realtor on one of my listings, for example, or if I'm representing a buyer and I'm submitting it to the listing agent. The very first thing that I will do is I will check their license number. So my license number is 0136984701369, being like the important part of that. I was licensed, first licensed in 2003. So if you see anybody who has a number that starts with 021, for example, that is somebody who is very recently licensed, and that is somebody who almost for sure has done very, very few transactions. And if you have not done very many transactions, I'm going to say that you are probably not a very experienced realtor, and because you lack that experience, you're probably not a very good realtor, odds are. Now, just because you have like a very low license number, like mine isn't very low, but it's, you know, lower than average, I would say, that does not mean that that person is going to be a good realtor, because a lot of people have had a real estate license for like a very long time, but never actually used it. So how can you find out just how many sales or transactions your realtor has actually done? Well, the place to start is by asking the realtor, say, hey, by the way, how long have you been in business and how many homes do you sell per year? And you know, the average realtor in the Greater Bay Area sells something like 2.8 homes a year. That's a number I saw somewhere. I'm not really sure how accurate that is, but certainly it is a very low number on average. So just ask a realtor, hey, what is your yearly production? Now, you can try to verify that information all on your own. You can go to websites like Zillow, and you can try to look it up on Zillow, but Zillow is oftentimes very inaccurate. Like, for example, if you were to look me up on Zillow, Zillow is missing a lot of my sales there, and I don't know what happens with Zillow, but it breaks very often, and so my complete sales history is not on Zillow, far from it. There are some other sites you might be able to go and check on, like homes.com or realtor.com, perhaps, to find those as well. But if you are working with a Compass agent, every Compass agent has a Compass agent profile, and on there you will find a very, very complete list of all of the transactions that that realtor has been a part of, representing either the buyer or the seller or both. So that is a good place to go and look if you are working with a Compass agent. Another way you can go and check and see how experienced or good your realtor is to go and check their online reviews. So popular places for online reviews for realtors are like Zillow.com or Realtor.com or Yelp.com. And then a lot of realtors these days are going to Google and creating Google profiles for themselves and having their clients leave them reviews on there. So certainly if you can find a realtor who has, you know, several dozen Google reviews or Yelp reviews or Zillow reviews, and they are all favorable, then that probably is a realtor who is in fact pretty well experienced. And if you can't find any reviews for your agent, then that probably means they are not really actively producing very much in the way of real estate sales, and probably are not that experienced and may not know a lot of the important things which any realtor should know about the area in which you are looking to buy or sell real estate. So now, doctor, lawyer, realtor. Do all three of those belong together? Certainly, you know, the licensing requirements, the training requirements for a realtor are far, far lower than for a doctor or a lawyer, obviously. But if you are working with a realtor who has a lot of experience, having sold hundreds of homes over decades in service, like myself, then that is somebody who probably has a lot of very real world school of hard knocks on the job training, which can't be had any other way other than to just do it. So I think that it is possible to find a realtor who is certainly as skilled as a lot of lawyers out there, and probably a lot of doctors out there as well. If you could just find that realtor who really has a great breadth of experience and a lot of positive feedback from the other clients that they have worked with over the years. All right, well, that is all I have for this video. Thank you so very much for watching. I do hope you found it somewhat useful and maybe a tiny bit entertaining, I don't know. And if you like this video by any slim chance, I'm guessing that you might also enjoy some of these videos over here. These are some of the most popular videos here on my YouTube channel, so please do take a look. All right, that's all I have for this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and please stay tuned.